Since you want to be froggy, let's jump. It's not all men, but it's always a man. You're now a baby mother to a man who cheated on his wife and was easily seduced by some paloozy from out of town. Congratulations! You win! Hello, little enzymes. Welcome back to another episode of Dacia's Digest. Another relaxed setup for today, but hey, as long as the videos are going out, right? I don't think you guys really care too much what it looks like as long as they're going out. But I'll probably be back to my regular setup starting tomorrow. Anyways, the topic for today is going to be pregnancy-related stories. They're all quite different, but they do all relate to pregnancies in some way. Everything is included in the description, so let's just go ahead and get into it. So the first story is, my wife, 24 female, hid the fact that she can't have kids, and I, 27 male, just found out after 6 years together. I don't know what to do. Me and my wife have been together for 6 years and married for 3. We've built a happy marriage and a stable and comfortable life. Once everything felt settled, we decided to start a family. From the very beginning, I was clear about wanting a big family, 4 or 5 kids, and she always said she was on board. After a year of trying with no success, I got myself checked and everything came back fine. That's when she sat me down for a serious talk. She finally told me that before we got together, she had a medical procedure due to some health issues, and she's known this entire time that her chances of getting pregnant were negligible. Why wouldn't you tell that to your husband? You got his hopes up. Y'all sitting there trying for kids. You've known from the beginning, you've known that he wants a big family, at least 4 or 5 kids. And the fact that you knew this from the beginning, I would feel so betrayed because he literally has told you from the beginning he wants a big family. Y'all been talking about it. Y'all been planning it. Y'all been trying for a year. Unless she really just thought a miracle would happen and so, I don't know, but like there's no way that she thought that because she knew her situation. He said, I just went numb. Everything after that felt like a blur. She broke down crying and apologized over and over. I couldn't process it. I just left despite her begging me to stay and talk. It's been 3 days. I've just been drifting around the city and staying with my sister. After nonstop barrage of calls and texts from my wife, I snapped and destroyed my phone to get some peace. So, no contact for 3 days. My sister went to our place to grab some work stuff for me and said my wife is completely shattered. She kept begging my sister to convince me to come home and talk to her. You had 6 years to talk. I think what bothers me in situations like this, when people do things especially egregious or they hide a secret for years and years and years and then they all of a sudden decide to come clean, they have the audacity to expect their partner to please just come talk. Obviously you're the one who didn't know how to just come talk. 6 years in, you're the one who didn't want to have conversations. And now that it's me not wanting to talk, all of a sudden it's a problem. Nah, let me be. Actually, give me 6 years to process. Since you had 6 years of hiding your secret, that is sad. He said, I don't know what to do. I don't even know what hurts more. Her hiding it from me all these years, letting me believe we had a real chance, or the fact that I still can't bring myself to hate her. My mind keeps spiraling and I don't feel ready to face her or talk about it. I just feel lost. What should I do? I mean, it's unfortunate, but if you want a huge, big family, 4 and 5 kids, and she can't have kids, so there's 2 issues here. One, unless you're willing to compromise in some way and be okay with having a surrogate or adopting kids, but adoption comes with it's a whole other mess of problems. So that's not always the right choice for everyone. That's a potential compromise. At the same time, you still have to deal with the fact that she lied to your ass for 6 years. So I don't know if I would be able to reconcile that in my mind. Because then it's like, what else are you capable of lying about? That is a huge thing to lie about for such a long time. Somebody said, just go your separate ways. You're both still young. You have plenty of time to have your big family, and she will find someone else. Opie responded, I really loved her. I feel like my head is going to explode with all of the thoughts. Someone else says, she says the chances of getting pregnant are negligible. Has she been checked recently? Medical advances happen regularly. Has she ever had a second opinion? Or was she just told pregnancy is unlikely? Does she want kids, or is IVF a possibility? Adoption? The fact that she hid this is atrocious, but you need to talk to her. If you want kids and she doesn't or can't, then this marriage is over. Again, yeah, IVF maybe, but I think the marker for if you're infertile is if you actively try for at least a year and you don't get pregnant. I think that means you're infertile. Now, I don't think that means like you can't have kids at all, but I feel like she knows her situation and she was just maybe hoping for a miracle. But I feel like she knows that she just can't get pregnant. But those are some good questions. And again, like I said, adoption is an option. It's not always the option for everyone because adoption has its own challenges. OP said, as I said, I haven't even gotten to the bottom of this. Once the truth hit me, I was like on autopilot. I didn't hear anything. I believe I should talk with her, but my mind keeps questioning. Someone else, it's one thing if she just found this out after all this time of trying, but to hide something like that from you, knowing that you wanted a family and she hid that very important information from you, I don't blame you for feeling lost one bit. You said you made it known from the beginning, and she basically said, oh, okay, whatever, marry me anyway. I don't know what you should do. If wanting a family is that high up on your priority, then you have some decisions to make, and you know what you likely have to do here. So 9 days later, he said, update. I posted the first one from my laptop while working, just venting everything I felt in the moment. I think it came off one-sided, so I want to give more context and clear up a few things people keep asking. Sorry if this isn't super coherent. Some context about her that I already knew. She's an only child. Her family lived paycheck to paycheck. Her mom left when she was 13 and her dad raised her alone. He later turned into an excessive alcohol user and very harmful. When we met around 18, she already had anxiety, abandonment, and trust issues. Her dad died when she was 19. Damn, she been through it. Early in our relationship, I helped her get some therapy however I could, and she leaned on me for everything. After her dad passed, I moved her in, and my family became hers. A lot of you told me to face it, and my mom also called saying the same. So the next morning, I went home. She was a mess, and the house too. When she saw me, she just froze for a second, then broke down and came to me crying and apologizing. I got her to sit down and calm, made something for us, and we finally talked. The part she'd hidden when she was 16, she had surgery to remove a cyst in her ovary. There were complications that caused internal scarring, and doctors told her a toned-down version of natural pregnancy was extremely unlikely. That surgery put her dad into debt. Later, he spiraled. Oh my gosh. He spiraled into alcohol, stopped coming home, blamed her for being damaged goods like her mom, always messing up his life, and started harassing her. That messed her up. She had a hard time growing up. He said she never had a checkup after that. Before we met, she was broke and barely coping with everything. After we got together, she said she didn't have the courage to find out more, scared of what she might hear and terrified of losing me if I found out. She hoped for a miracle. That's exactly what I was thinking she was doing. After reading stories of women getting pregnant despite similar issues, everything fell apart when I brought up getting checked. I got myself checked secretly just to be sure so I wouldn't stress her unnecessarily. Upon hearing her out, I lost my cool and went off on her for hiding something so serious. I told her I needed space and asked her to stay with my parents for a while so I could think clearly. She broke down, begged me not to leave, said she'd do anything to make it work. I dropped her off at my parents' place. By day 2, I realized I genuinely missed her. The house felt empty without her. I brought her back home. What she did hurt me deeply, but I realized I couldn't just throw her away like some of you said, because I still love her. We're not talking much right now. I'm still processing it all, taking one step at a time. Many pointed out that if she hid something this serious, she could be hiding more, and honestly, that makes me uneasy. That's what I was thinking too. If you're able to hide something that serious. And yes, granted, I understand the history, everything that like she went through and all of that, but I still don't think that warrants her not being honest about her situation, especially given the fact that she knew before they got together what her situation was. And she knew as soon as from early on in their relationship that he wanted a large family. So in my mind, if I was her, I would have been like, yeah, I know you want a big family. I just want to be fair to you. I don't know about the possibility that, my chances of having kids, like maybe we can go see, I can get checked, something. But you don't string somebody along for 6 years. Y'all been trying actively for a year and you just didn't say anything at all. And yes, I get she didn't want to lose him, all of that. But that's how relationships go. Sometimes people can love each other and they can have a great time together, but they might not be compatible on those core like relationship ending issues. And if that's the case, then it just doesn't work, unfortunately. But you can't just string somebody along and waste their time. So you can have them around for longer or whatever. It honestly sounds like she might have a chance at getting pregnant though, because they said it was just very unlikely, but not impossible. And let me see. And I mean, if she's still able to like produce eggs, then yeah, the surrogate option might be an option, or IVF, or she just needs to go to the doctor and see. And I know, different people have different ideas on surrogacy, adoption, and all that stuff. I'm not even getting into that. I'm just saying what her options may be. All of this done ethically, of course. Let's see. Somebody said, I was one of those who said, if she is hiding this, then what else is she hiding? But this added information adds that she has had massive trauma, and now I understand where she had secret hopes instead of just addressing this. Get her to a specialist. Her body might carry a child with some medical intervention. Also, she needs intense and regular counseling about her family. Her dad dying of alcoholism is not her fault. If she does the emotional work and is open to you about everything from now on, you might get through this and be a stronger couple. OP responded, I'm thinking about getting counseling, as everyone mentioned, first, and then exploring options with specialists on fertility. Is this the right approach? I mean, I think you could probably just do both at the same time. Just start out the gate doing both, because you don't want to waste time. The sooner you know about her fertility situation, I feel like the sooner you can make an informed decision. If she can't have kids, are you going to stay? If she can't have kids, how are you going to do it? Someone else said, here's the honest truth. Women who go through significant trauma at the hands of their parents can escape into marriage young to try and feel safe. Sometimes it works, but sometimes it's just a trauma bomb waiting to explode. She had a lot of unprocessed grief and trauma that a healthy person would have dealt with before getting married. So it's not you, and it's kind of not even her, but she needs serious, deep therapy. If you love her, help her get that. I'm not a doctor, but she may have eggs that can be harvested, but she needs to deal with the trauma first. You sound like a good man. Even if you end up separating, just know that she came to you as a safe space after years of abuse. OP responded, currently not thinking about separation. I am more hurt about the lying part. I want to talk heart to heart with her. Everybody here is rushing me to do things, but I am literally walking on eggshells right now. Someone said, how strange that you dropped her off at your parents'. If you wanted a break, you should have left. You have displaced her once again, just an odd move, but he did leave. He left and he came back, and then he took her to a place where presumably she feels safe there. How is that strange? Someone said, I think I understand. He had been gone and she was a wreck and the house a mess. If he left again, she would continue to spiral. He took her to family that can hopefully support her and stabilize her, and the fact he is home in the house should give her some comfort. At first, it didn't make sense to me, but after a second read, that was my take. Right, exactly. OP said, exactly. My mind was going through so many questions and not in a clear space. I wanted her to be in a place where she can feel safe and taken care of while I can have peace. Right. And then another comment, I think she's never brought it up because of the trauma it caused her. She probably blames herself for her dad's alcoholism and death from what he's said to her. You're right to be angry, but I think that once you've cooled down, you should really look at the why, because that's some serious stuff. And while I'd be pissed, it would give me some clarity. Edit to add, it sounds like she was also in denial, and acknowledging it makes all her trauma that much more real. Like maybe she thought that if she could get pregnant, then all the stuff with her dad after the surgery would have sort of been worth it if it meant carrying her own children. It's sad all around, and I hope OP doesn't give up on her. Therapy. That's the main thing that needs to be talked about in their household. No additional updates yet. The next story, my 32 female, mother-in-law 70 female is acting like a manipulative victim now that I'm pregnant. Previously, we were very close. My mother-in-law and I always had what I thought was a great relationship. Once I got pregnant, things shifted. Her energy has been so off, and this week she has really driven me to madness. I want to confront this behavior so bad, but I also want to keep the peace. Within the past 72 hours, she has done the following. 1, after previously seeing an estimate for my baby shower venue, took it upon herself to offer to pay for half. We thought it was way too generous and unnecessary, but she insisted. After calling me to have me add a few more people to the invite, she calls my mom, saying her budget has changed and she can no longer contribute. My husband is distraught by this because he is very aware of his parents' finances, and it's simply not the case. They are well off. It's bad enough to make a commitment to something and then pull out, but since we know it's not for financial reasons that she's stating, we feel so weird. And then also, now you got people on the invite list that I didn't even want under the guise that you was gonna help pay. So what do we do about that? Do we uninvite them? Like, what do we do there? The second thing that she did, once my mom comes clean about my mother-in-law pulling out of the shower fund, she mentions a plethora of comments being made about me. She asked my mom if we came from money, said that she's never heard of a shower being this costly, said she finds it very hard to believe any of my husband's friends' wives had showers like this. My mom just politely replied, saying this was pretty normal and on par with what the trends are these days. Please keep in mind the total cost of this shower will be about $2,000. I know women who have spent $6,000 or more. I'm not saying it's cheap, but I certainly don't think I fit the bill of doing something over the top. I also eloped and didn't have a wedding anyone had to spend money on. I think $2,000 is extremely reasonable for a baby shower. Like, I host things, events and stuff with my friends all the time. Things add up quickly. Just, party favors, food, decorations, your outfit, everything, the venue, things add up very quickly. $2,000, and then I don't know how many people are gonna be there. I feel like that's quite reasonable, to be honest. Number 3, she made a comment to me that deeply hurt my feelings. She felt the need to let me know that she has cut off my husband's ex. My husband doesn't have an ex-wife or kids with anyone else. Why would an ex-girlfriend have to be cut off? Why are you in touch with an ex of his? Well, turns out she was secretly having his ex over with her children. We had no idea. She felt the need to tell me that, quote, she was treating me like a surrogate grandmother, and I wanted to be respectful to you, end quote. Thanks, I guess. I've been with my husband for 7 years now, and his ex has a toddler and a baby, so this was recent. I can't imagine how long this went on behind our backs, and I'm so hurt. 4, last night while discussing all of this weird ass behavior and what a whirlwind few days I've had with his mom, he told me he had to tell me something. That his mom let him know something about a month ago, but he never confronted me with it to keep the peace. I don't like that. I don't like that. Why are you hiding stuff to keep the peace? I don't like that. After seeing her behavior, he now realizes it's not true. You should have realized it wasn't true in the first place because you should know who you married. I don't like that. If somebody's saying something about me, you need to come to me. You need to ask me what was said and what was done and what was the situation. Not just, I know she's my wife, but let me just not say nothing to keep the peace. Cause then you're questioning my character. And again, you should know the person you married. So she continues, he said, I don't want to tell you this, but I guess I will now. You really hurt my mom's feelings about a month ago. She called me asking if she was allowed around the baby. She said she offered to help out the first month, and you responded by saying, don't worry, my tribe's got it. I responded, what? I would never say something so rude. What I did say to her was, thank you so much. We're so grateful to have a village. And she twisted my words completely. There is just no way that she misunderstood me. 5, she proceeded to tell my husband her feelings were further hurt by me because I told her not to cancel a vacation she had planned. She felt the need to let me know she canceled a tropical vacation she had booked 1 month before my due date. Considering it's a whole month before I'm set to give birth, I didn't understand why she would do this, and I told her to please enjoy herself and go. Apparently, that was rude of me, and she wanted praise for doing such an admirable thing. This made her start making comments about not being around when the baby comes, basically claiming she had a feeling I don't want her around. Unbelievable. I'm sorry this is so long. I'm seriously at a loss. I've tried to convince myself this is a series of misunderstandings, but I know in my gut it isn't. She has always had serious attention-seeking and victimization behaviors, but I guess it didn't directly affect me before. This includes lying about being allergic to everything, lying about serious injuries, extramarital affairs when she was younger, posting play-by-plays of her life on Facebook, things like that. Okay, so she's jealous of the baby. She's not only jealous, she's both jealous of the baby and jealous of OP because the attention that OP is getting because of the fact that she's pregnant, and also mad or upset because she's not needed as much as she wants to be needed. Funny enough though, she's going to end up pushing herself out of the situation with the way that she's acting versus enticing people to have her be more involved. Nobody's gonna want somebody like this around their environment, especially when they're pregnant, especially when they have a newborn and a baby that they're trying to raise. Nobody's gonna want to deal with this. She would do better to just ask OP what she needs, be there for whatever OP needs, and leave it at that. But all this riffraff and making things up and saying you're gonna help and then pulling out, it's just too much. I would stop having her be involved. If I had a mother-in-law acting like this, you'd be lucky to hear anything from me about my pregnancy. Somebody said she's trying to triangulate your mom and husband against you. She's baiting you to blow up so she can further convince your husband that you're the problem. Someone said 100%. She's setting herself up to be the victim, that her daughter-in-law is so mean, and to then get everyone on her side. OP, if your husband doesn't nip this in the bud, you're going to have an even rougher time when the baby is actually here. I agree. This is definitely husband's problem. He needs to deal with his own mama. She doesn't need to be having like the direct communication or trying to police her actions or anything like that in any way. The husband needs to deal with his mama. Somebody said this, you need to talk to your husband and show him this comment and make sure you're on the same team. Get ahead of it now before she can do any damage. Right, because it really did rub me the wrong way when he was like, oh, well, I got something to tell you. A month ago, you hurt my mom's feelings. Why would you, I would be like, do you even know me? Like, you really thought I would have did something like that? So she already starting to get in his head. Someone said, I'm a man, yet experienced something similar between my then wife and my mother. although much less than this. My mother and my wife saw one another regularly as her mom wasn't nearby or emotionally close to her. But once we started having children after a long number of years together, my mother seemed a small bit strange. My wife never pushed my mom at arm's length, but my mom started acting as if she wasn't welcome. Many years later, looking back, I see it was likely my own mother's extreme loneliness, as my father has always been distant. My mother would never say she was jealous, but I take it as a bit of her own slight narcissism to, instead of just being elated for us, she felt left out, thus started acting pouty and then distance from us. Would never even come over to our house ever to see the children when small without a formal invitation. She also told me later that she didn't feel my wife wanted her there from her body language. But if my wife acted off around my mom, it's because my mom would trigger anyone's anxiety being near her because of her own anxious behavior when she was over or saying slightly passive-aggressive things, making my wife feel avoidant and quieter. Thus, my mother created her own self-fulfilling prophecy about my then wife and children. Exactly. This lady is creating her own self-fulfilling prophecy. She's going to make happen exactly what she don't want to happen if she keep acting like this. Opie said, wow, this sounds very much like what is going on with us. We spoke last night and have been trying to rack our brains about what I could have possibly done to make her feel excluded, but there's nothing. She gets constant calls, texts, photos, the works. We did discuss when the baby is here. She is welcome whenever. However, it is up to her to call and ask to see the baby. I am not going out of my way to call family members up and invite them over. I'm curious about what will happen with this. There was an update. It was like 23 days. Oh, 3 weeks, about 3 weeks later. She said, it's been about 3 weeks since my original post. Since then, my husband cut my mom a check for my mother-in-law's formally promised portion of my baby shower. Her bowing out of paying after insisting upon doing so, without being asked, has been gnawing at my husband, and he finally got the courage to ask his mom why she never let him know. In the gentlest way possible, he said, we didn't need the money, but she made such a big show of wanting to pay for half after seeing the total cost. If something came up and she couldn't honor her promise, he has zero issue with that, but why not tell us directly? Well, she lied and said she never said that to my mom. Woo, Chad, I know somebody like this. I know somebody that acts just like this. It's always, oh, I never said that. Oh, okay. All right. She continues, she claims she told my mom she was capping it at a certain dollar amount, but never bowed out. See, she's the type of person where you have to have all the parties involved when having conversations with her, because she will lie. She will lie till the cows come home. You need to have everybody there so they can all fact check, so they can all be aware and or have everything in writing. People like this, they just lie about everything. She said, my husband and I discussed their conversation, and thankfully he understood my mom would never lie about something like this, and his mom was lying again. My mom swore on my deceased grandmother's life she never mentioned any sort of cap. It's worth noting, I had to pull the information out of my mom in the first place that mother-in-law wasn't contributing anymore. She did not want to tell us. My husband and I came to the conclusion his mother most likely wanted to get my mom and me nervous, feel like we really needed her contribution, and then she was probably going to try to swoop in last minute and, quote, save the day with her portion. Based on his conversation with mother-in-law, we knew she was already brewing some show up to try to get back in the fold and make the payment. We decided to lie to mother-in-law and tell her one of my other relatives stepped in and paid the remainder, but thank you so much for the generous offer. Needless to say, she called my husband sobbing, saying she knows we paid for it and not a relative. He thinks he lied to her well enough that she now believes it's a relative, but was losing her crap over this. She called my mom extremely angry, gaslighting her, saying, why don't you remember our conversation where I said I was capping an amount? My mom just killed her with kindness and said, I'm so sorry for the misunderstanding, even though it never ever happened. Mother-in-law mentioned to my husband that her feelings were hurt that she was paying for half, but I never invited her to see the venue. 1, we saw the venue prior to her offering to pay anything. Am I allowed to do anything with just my mom? 2, turns out my mom did invite her. So the lies continue. I know this seems minuscule compared to some monster-in-laws mentioned on this sub, but I am so upset by all of this. I feel in my bones she has been trying to set me up to victimize herself to my husband, and thank God he's not falling for it. I do not plan on attending her Thanksgiving dinner, and I also will never have a conversation with her that's not either in front of my husband or in writing via text. Exactly. That's how you have to deal with these type of people. I thought her and I were insanely close before, and this is just so jarring to me. Ever since I announced my pregnancy, she paints me as an angry woman she tiptoes around. She has made everything about herself. She finds fault in everything I do and feels comfortable mentioning it to my husband. She has made small comments to him like, "Will daughter-in-law let me babysit? She just doesn't want me around. She's excluding me from her pregnancy." None of these things were true until she did all of this, and I caught wind of her making those comments. And what on earth does it mean to exclude someone from their pregnancy? She was a part of the baby shower planning committee, which she sabotaged. Every single ultrasound I've had, she's received a photo and an update. How else would I be expected to include her? I truly hate her now. I will never get over how much she's slighted me and made this about her. I don't know how to move going forward. My feelings are probably palpable, and so far I have completely avoided her, but we'll have to face her soon. I hate how rude she's been to my mother, how manipulative she's been to my husband, and how she's trying to make my pregnancy about her and her perceived slights. Any advice is welcome. Thanks, girl. As you said, no conversations with her without your husband. If you do speak to her, do it in writing. Everything in writing, no phone conversations. And look, since you wanna be froggy, let's jump. Since you said you feel excluded from the pregnancy, I'll show you excluded. She would be on an information diet. You can know the bare minimum, miss. The baby shower ain't even come yet. Imagine what she gonna do then. Have y'all done a gender reveal? She gonna make that about her in some kind of way. I couldn't. I have very low patience. And my thought is always we just have so little time on this earth. Like, we really have to be selective about who we interact with and the situations that we put ourselves in. And I just would not be dealing with this. I don't have to deal with this. I wouldn't be dealing with this. Especially OP got her actual mom is in the picture. Why would I then add more stress to myself just trying to keep this connection with this lady who obviously is unstable? No, the husband can deal with that. I would not be dealing with that. So first comment, any mother-in-law shenanigans need to go through your husband. Do not answer any call or text. I mean it. My sister is pregnant with her first right now, coming in a month already. And I sometimes lie awake at night because I'm afraid of some stressful situations she could have that would put her at risk. Pregnancy is a natural thing, but that doesn't mean it always goes smoothly. You need to prioritize your health. You are what matters the most right now because you matter for two. Stress like this can lead to physical or psychological conditions linked to pregnancy, and none of them are good. So stop entertaining the attention-seeking monster and take a step back. Your husband will handle her. On another note, it kind of makes me think there's something medically wrong with your mother-in-law. Like maybe she stopped her meds for bipolar or she has a brain tumor. My grandmother acted this way when she had her tumor. It was ginormous, yet benign, fortunately. But whatever the cause, this is not your problem to deal with. We never ever think about that when it comes to odd behavior. I wonder if there is something medically other than mentally wrong with her. That would be an interesting twist. Somebody said, I would be a smartass and sit her down with your husband, saying how concerned you are about her. say that you both noticed a rapid decline in her cognitive abilities, forgetting conversations, making up stories, etc., and that you want her to go and be assessed for dementia. Because why else could you both reconcile the woman you are both experiencing now versus the woman that existed prior to the pregnancy announcement? Now, of course, she is just a monster-in-law at work and probably no dementia at play, but I would lean in hard to the "we think you've got dementia" angle as a reason why she can't babysit, can't have the baby on her own. Perfect excuse. She isn't to be trusted around your baby. It might be that she needs to be kept at arm's distance when the baby comes. Now, I know this person is trying to be funny, like trying to be a smart ass. I don't want to make light of a dementia diagnosis because it actually is quite serious and heartbreaking. To their point, there might actually be something there, like legitimate. Like she might legitimately be dealing with some sort of, I don't think so, but I don't know. She might be. Someone said, as someone with a parent who has dementia, it is possible that this might even be early symptoms. It is extremely difficult to tell what is manipulation and what is actual memory issues in the early stages, especially when your parents were already manipulative. Right. Damn. That would be a plot twist of all plot twists. But, aside from like this trying to be a smart ass thing, I do like the idea of approaching it as like you're concerned, like you're acting a little weird. We're kind of concerned, this happened, is everything okay? Approaching it that way to see how it goes. And then another comment she was making regarding her husband, she said it's been really hard for him to see the mask slip with his mom, and he desperately wants to believe she is harmless and just very sensitive. Thankfully, he is on my team and assures me I am his family unit, and his mother needs to get used to being extended family and stay in line. Executing these thoughts will be hard for him, but I know he will if it gets any worse. He has been manipulated by her his whole life, and if I make demands of him, I don't want that to make anything worse. Baby steps. No new update yet. We need to follow this story. So the last one is, he cheated. He really cheated. I'm on mobile and typing through my tears. Yesterday, I, 26 female, got a "Hey girly" DM from an old college friend, G. Let's give her a name. G. I always say Gigi because that's like the easiest. G. Gabrielle. We'll call her Gabrielle. Got a DM from an old college friend, Gabrielle, 27, female, about my husband. We'll call him Ricky, 28, male. As far as I knew, she was living in a different city, but apparently she moved to our city like 8 months ago. She sent me screenshots of their messages and their sex, and had selfies of them after they consumed a 2-piece spicy. Why? I've been busy at work and admittedly not spending as much time at home, but he's the love of my life, and I never thought he could do something like this. I confronted Ricky and he admitted it right away. He said it was supposed to be a one-time thing. He and Gabrielle met up for dinner when she moved, but things progressed, so they started dating. Yes, dating. Sir, you're married. The only person you need to be dating is your wife. That is insane. Opie says she had no idea about me. He doesn't post me on his socials because his online presence is dedicated to his personal fitness business. So she just assumed he was a fit, handsome, single guy. Oh, he cheating. Gabrielle is not the first one. I hate to break it to you. I don't think I would ever seriously consider dating a fitness trainer as a mate. I just would not. Unless we own the gym together or something like that. Unless I'm like co-trainer and I'm there at all the sessions. This is not his first time. And for him to just so casually do this, like dating, and the fact that he had enough of like free time and slots and stuff to be dating her so much so that she didn't even know he was married. Nah, that is insane. No. Anyway, she said, he never mentioned me once. It was only when Gabrielle started mentioning marriage and kids that Ricky got nervous and dodgy and mentioned trouble with his, quote, ex-wife if they were to get married. The ex-wife being me. The fact that they literally were dating and communicating so much so that the girl fell in love with him and started talking about marriage. Like, this fool was in it as a married man. How does that, girl, was you that busy at work? Now, not saying this was her fault, but I'm saying, like, how did you not notice something was going on? That's crazy. She said the ex-wife being me, his wife of 4 years. She mentioned this because, drum roll, she's 3 months pregnant. God damn. Thinking they were exclusive, she hasn't slept with anyone else, which means the baby is his. She Googled my name and found out that not only were we together, we were freaking married. 4 years of marriage, 3 more years of dating, down the drain. It's not all men, but it's always a man. I told Ricky to get the out, and he tried to argue, but he knew he had no choice. He's staying at a friend's house, and after lurking on Reddit for so long, I texted him my entire reason for kicking him out, and he sent an apology reply admitting to everything, so I have it all in writing. That's smart. I'm still messaging Gabrielle. She feels totally awful about the whole situation, and I really feel for her. We've actually become close in the last day or two, as weird as that sounds, but we're both in the middle of some trauma, and leaning on each other has helped. Girl, don't lean on the affair partner. If there's anything I learned from Reddit, don't lean on the affair partner. You ain't got no friends you can lean on, because she probably plotting. She is one of them keep your enemy close type of situations, I think. I would not trust her. She's pregnant. She has more stake in the situation. Well, in her mind, I feel like she has a higher stake in the situation than you. She got to figure out how she gonna, get through life with this child. She actually would probably be more willing to forgive him than you are, because she got a baby coming. She needs help. I wouldn't trust her as far as I could throw her. She said, I'm leaving him, if that wasn't clear. Gabrielle has also said she wants nothing to do with Ricky except child support. I texted him to come over tomorrow to talk, and he said he would, and I contacted a lawyer this morning and sent her everything I have. She replied after about 2 hours and said this case wouldn't be a problem. Basically, it was a slam dunk. She also offered to mention the case to a colleague in family court, but Gabrielle hasn't made her mind up about that yet. She's just as overwhelmed about this as I am. I'm just grateful I didn't have kids with this son of a bitch. And I'm still young and hot, while Ricky's a gross cheating cheater. Anyway, not really looking for advice. I'm aware of my way forward. Just wanted to get this off my chest. And then edit, I genuinely thank you all for the advice regarding Gabrielle. I will be cutting contact after she gets her test results back. Yes, I'm glad somebody else mentioned it. Edit to, let me not read that yet. Let me read this comment real quick. Someone said, I doubt Gabrielle isn't going to accept his apologies. There's a child involved. Don't get too close to her or tell her anything of substance. Someone said, best advice right here. She's your ally now, but just wait until the smoke clears. I had a similar situation happen, minus the pregnancy, and she was my bestie. We were helping each other deal with the pain of both being lied to by this monster. She didn't want to have anything to do with him, and I was going to divorce him after being together for 15 years. Bitch played me like a piano. After the initial shock and hurt, her goal was to get me to sign divorce papers so she could marry him. She was welcome to him, but once I realized, I dragged out the divorce for 2 more years. And so the second edit on the post says, you all were right. Gabrielle is up to something. Tomorrow, once I've had some sleep, I'll update further, but thank you all for your advice. And so then the update 2 days later, well, what an update I have for you all. Last night, I got into a huge argument with Ricky over the phone, talking about how I'm a B for breaking up with him and plenty of other nasty things. Through the night, I was anxious and insomniatic, so as per so much of your advice, I started distancing myself from Gabrielle. She sensed this and things blew up. She went into a rage and told me she had known about me. She knew I got married through mutual friends on Instagram. My profile is private, but friends and family posted about the wedding, so Gabrielle saw our wedding photo. Have I read this story before? I feel like I have, but it has a new update from just last, a couple months ago. So even if I have, at least if I have, you can go forward to the new update, but I don't think I have. It sounds like a similar story that we have read before though. That is crazy. So she knew. See, that's what I was saying. I would not trust her as far as I could throw her. I knew something was off. She the ops. Opie said, Gabrielle texted me this morning after waking up to so many texts. She called me a fake bee who makes up circumstances and lies about details. I blocked her after that. In my post and my text, I was as accurate as possible without divulging too many details. Oh, she posted it. Oh, I see. She posted it on social media. That's what she's referring to. She said, I was also feeling petty from lack of sleep, so I did tag Ricky in an Instagram story telling everyone he was a cheater, and a few people responded saying they unfollowed or blocked him. I deleted it after 3 hours. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did read this. I deleted it after 3 hours, but I know there were screenshots taken and the damage has been done because I remember that detail for some reason. She said he called early this morning asking to talk, but I said everything was better said over text, so I had receipts, and he obliged. He basically said he'd accept divorce and he'd give me almost everything I asked for, namely our TV and my car, since he'd contributed to some payments. We don't have many flashy things other than our gaming consoles, and neither of us are interested in the others. This obviously wasn't legally binding, but I'd imagine it's good ammo in the divorce. He came by after work to get a bunch of his things, and we were able to talk face to face. He apologized and asked, almost begged, for my forgiveness. Remembering comments about my dignity, I politely but firmly declined. He actually took this pretty well and asked me if I had any questions. I asked him, what the hell happened? According to him, Gabrielle contacted him before she even moved. As many suspected, she knew about me from the beginning, but simply did not care. She didn't say outright that she was trying to get pregnant, but she gloated to her friends about having unprotected two-piece spices with Ricky many times, so it's definitely suspicious as hell. He said he just couldn't resist her. Weak! Just weak! To be quite frank, Reddit, I'm hotter than her. There's no question. That is the one thing about this whole situation that brings me a bit of light. Oh, and as predicted by so many of you, Gabrielle and Ricky are apparently still in a relationship. They're planning on keeping the baby, and get this, 2 or 3 hours after I wrote this out, he posted the gender reveal on his public Instagram. The way I would just be so disgusted. It would be so easy for me to move on from this situation. Yeah, I feel like I would be sad at first, but after learning all the details, I would just be so disgusted that I wouldn't even be sad anymore. I would be ready for him to go. Go ahead and have fun with your baby and your baby mama. I literally would not want anything to do with this anymore. Then you're posting the gender reveal on the public Instagram, and we're not even divorced yet. We haven't even drafted up the paperwork. She said she posted it on his public Instagram like I never freaking existed. He's trying to get rent money from me, but there's not a chance in hell I'll be giving a cent to him. In fact, I'll be taking nearly everything. He knows he doesn't stand a chance at getting any of the furniture that I paid for or the vinyls I bought. F him. So many comments gave great advice, and I'm so grateful. I've officially cut off Gabrielle, and I'm in the process of cutting off Ricky outside the divorce. I'm living comfortably by myself in our apartment. I have a decent salary, so I can afford it, but I let our landlord know that I'll be ending the lease in 2 months. He has a studio available, but I'm not sure I'll take it. For now, I'm in contact with my lawyer, who says this whole process can be done in 6 months if everything goes well. I have a ton of hope for my future, and I truly appreciate all of you who commented on my first post. I might post a further update or I might not. Regardless, I will get a happy ending and I'll be able to start fresh without him. Good riddance. Amen. Somebody said I'd literally tell every single person connected to her what she did. Parents, family, friends, boss, coworkers. Make a post detailing everything that happened, her actions, his actions, and how he still wanted to be with you through it all, blah, blah, blah. I do remember this post because I think what I had said before was that I wouldn't make a post because I feel like that's exactly what she wants you to do. She wants you to be bothered. She wants you to be worked up about this. For me, the best reaction would be no reaction. I wish you the best. I hope you have a healthy and safe pregnancy. Have fun with your baby and your ain't shit man. There's literally nothing about that situation that I would want. Who would want that? You're now a baby mother to a man who cheated on his wife and was easily seduced by some floozy from out of town. Congratulations. You win. Who would want that? I really feel like she really wants OP to be bothered. So the best reaction is to be unbothered and to actually be unbothered, because this would not bother me. I would actually be happy. Like I said, after the shock and the sadness wore off, I would be so grateful and happy that I figured this out before I had kids with the guy. So there's a couple of smaller updates. I'm just gonna skip those two. But then there was one that was 3 months later. It says, my 27 female ex-husband, Ricky, of 4 years, cheated on me last year with a college friend of mine, Gabrielle, and she ended up pregnant, blah, blah, blah. So as I'm sure everyone's surprised, maybe she meant not surprised, Ricky cheated on Gabrielle. I found out through a friend who still follows Gabrielle on socials because she made a post blasting him and all of his actions, and oh man, what a blast. Y'all, this was the kind of post that's once in a lifetime. Gabrielle aired all of their dirty laundry, and it was just a hell of a post. Gabrielle found out Ricky had given her some STI. She didn't specify which, but implied it was treatable. And for some reason, she stayed with him, likely the baby that they had just had. But later, she found out he'd been cheating since before she even had that baby. Of course! What did I tell y'all? This man just so casually started dating a woman while he was married. Dating, that implies you're taking her out on dates, you're planning things to do together, you having conversations, you talk on the phone, you chit-chat, da. This is not some fluke, oh man, I got drunk one night, or I was, I lost this wasn't some accident. This shows a pattern of behavior. So I am not surprised. I knew it. And what did she expect? Every time this just happened in another video, like the guy cheated on his wife with the OP. Then OP found out he was still cheating with other people once they got together. Like, what did you expect? This is who he was when you got together with him. This is who he's going to continue to be. You didn't change. You thought you would. You thought you would be the one to change him. Unfortunately, you're not. OP said, anyway, Gabrielle found out she was pregnant with their second baby. She told Ricky, and he was so excited, and they went out to celebrate. Ricky got a little too drunk and made some weird freaking comments that made Gabrielle think something was very wrong. He'd given Gabrielle his phone passcode, bold as hell, in my opinion, and after he passed out, she checked his text and he had, and I quote, 2 effing B's he was texting in his recent messages. I'm glad. I won't say G ruined my life because she didn't, but she planned to separate me and Ricky, and she succeeded, and she's getting her just desserts. She's going to be a single mother to 2 young children, and it's because she was so adamant on being with my ex, even though he was a cheater. He got a taste of infidelity and he couldn't stop, and now she's suffering. I hate it for her kids. They'll grow up with a mom who craves chaos, and they won't get the life that they deserve. And I fear her second baby will inherit whatever STI that Ricky gave her. I hope and pray Ricky will take responsibility for his children, because we wanted kids at some point and he's great with kids. But oh man, I dodged so many bullets. You sure did. I feel kind of bad that I'm happy, but karma came for them, and I'm not one to doubt the universe's way of balancing itself. I'll just keep going to therapy, doing my thing, and keeping my peace. As always, I'll be just fine. Like I said, I would be happy too. I would be elated, actually. All right, so the palate cleanser for today is this video from TikTok of this young boy finally getting the puppy that he's been asking for. The text on screen says 6 years of asking for a puppy. One of the things that I love about that video is the dad seems so involved, because he was like, yeah, he had a hard day today, and then just like, I don't know, just something about the video just gave me that the feeling like the dad was just like very in tune with his kids and very involved. I really loved that. But then the part where he was like, happy birthday, Logan, and you can hear his voice crack. Bro was finna lose it. Anyway, for anyone not watching, it's this video of this little boy. It's obviously his birthday. He gets a big box. Inside the first box is a stuffed animal like dog. And then there's also a collar in there that says Teddy. So he was happy about that. But then the dad was like, oh, I'm assuming it's the dad. He was like, oh, there's a second, gift for you. He opens the second box. It's a puppy. He immediately starts crying. It looked like it's a little golden doodle or poodle mixed dog. Immediately starts crying. He gets the dog, he's hugging it. It's a joyous time. His brother comes, sits next to him. The brother is crying, they hugging. So I did like that video. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.